Hello everyone, and we are really sorry for the technical error. We are ready to go. So let's get. Thank you for your patience. Today we are going to talk about NLP, what is natural language processing, and how do we represent NLP in our machine learning, that is word vector form. So to do any kind of pre-processing or anything, we need to represent them as a vector. So we will, and this is going to be a hands-on session. So yeah, so we are good to go. So let's get started. All right, so here is what we are going to cover in this session. We will talk about what is NLP, then we will talk about what are the applications of NLP. Then NLP, there are this data, right? We have some ambiguities in our data. So we will talk about how do we do the pre-processing for our textual data, right? Then we will talk about how do we represent the words as vectors, right? And after representing, then we will talk about what are the different types of word embedding and its different types. So let's get started. I hope you guys are excited about this session. So let's not wait any more further. Let's not wait this, right? So let's move forward. Now let's see what is NLP, right? What is natural language processing? What do we mean by NLP? So natural language processing is a branch of artificial intelligence. So it is a branch of artificial intelligence dealing with the interaction between the humans and the computers. They're deriving information. It is a systematic process for analyzing and understanding and also deriving information from the textual data in a efficient NLP. Now there are different tasks of this NLP. What are the application of NLP? What field can we use this natural language processing, right? So let's talk about that. So here we are going to talk about the application of NLP. So the first and foremost application that everyone uses in their daily life, Google, right? To enter a search query, then after you enter a particular keyword, you get the information regarding that particular keyword that you have entered, right? How it is working? How does this Google suggest you that particular information, right? That particular website that you are looking for. So this is the task of NLP here, right? So here we are making use of NLP. All right. Now again there is this translator, right? From Hindi to English, from Chinese to English, right? This is the Google. So here again we are making use processing. How does this machine understand and convert this into some different language? So here again we are making use of what? NLP, all right? Or okay, now there is another task in sentiment analysis. So most company use this for sentiment analysis purpose. You have launched a product, right? So you have launched a product, sentiment of the people for that particular product, whether they are liking your products or if there is any shortcoming in that product, right? So you want to know, how do you know that? By doing some sentiment analysis. So your users are going to give you some reviews, right? So based on their reviews, what you can do, you can find what is the sentiment, whether they are liking your product or not. So this is the another application of NLP, sentiment analysis. Then we have developed the smart chatbots these days, right? Go to any website these days, you will be able to see the application of this chatbot, right? They talk with you, they chat with you like there is another person sitting at this back end and chatting with you, right? This is another example of this application of natural language processing here, right? Then here also, if you see in your phone, you are having a autocorrect, right? In your phone you have this autocorrect, right? How does this suggest you some auto correction? So like you have made some spelling mistake, how does it suggest you, right? This textual data, our model data has some ambiguities, have to process them, right? Have to process them to be able to use them. So textual data, process them, for example, and punctuations have stop words and punctuation we don't want. So how do we pre-process this, and how do we remove all this, right? We want to remove Twitter handle, we want to remove emojis, also we want to remove URLs and stop words and punctuations. So let's talk about them. So here what we are going to do is we are going to talk about the pre-processing task of this textual data. All right, so we are going to talk about the pre-processing task of this textual data over here. So here let's consider the same example, which is we have this user, we have this tweet that is at the rate user 123, then I am really happy, and some emojis, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to make this tokenization. Tokenization breaks the raw text into words, comma, sentences, and so we have raw text and then we tokenize it, right? All right. So what we can do, we can tokenize each and so we are going to tokenize it, right? Takes this and gives you a, all right. So what we can do, we can go for stop word removal now. Now what are stop words? So whatever the words that we use, whatever the word that we use, that is, am, the, all right? Yes, I'm really sorry for that, because we are working from home in the pandemic situation. There is some technical issues, weather conditions. Please be cooperative, and I hope it will be a fruitful session at the end. So we are facing some technical issues. We are really sorry for that, as everyone is working from home, and there are some weather condition as well. We will upload the video in our YouTube channel, and it is going to be perfectly edited, and you can watch it, no worries with that, right? So we will upload this video without any buffering, so you'll be able to access everything from without breaking through. All right, please cooperate here. All right, guys, so I think you guys can hear me now. So we have to tokenize this word, we have tokenized the words. All right, now after tokenization, go for stop word removal. Now what are the stop words in English? Let's say simply we use lot of stop words in English, like is, the, and, of, do, and all these things, right? But this does not add any sense to our meaning, right? This does not make more sense. These are just increasing our word vocabulary. These are just increasing our word vocabulary, and it is going to take the computation power as well, right? So it is going to take the computation power as well. So what we can do is we can remove these stop words like is, a, the, of, in. These all stop words, we can remove it. So after, if you see here, have, oh man, this is pretty cool, we will do more such things. And after removing these stop words, what do we have? We have only, oh man, pretty cool, we, things. So we have removed the stop words from this example here, right? We have removed all the stop words, and we will see how we do it in Python as well. So don't worry about that. And after you have removed all the stop words, then you go for stemming or limitization. You either go for stemming or limitization. Now what is stemming and what is limitization? So by stemming and limitization, what we try to achieve? We try to achieve the core word, right? Here, let's say you have many form of the words. So studies, right? Studying, and it could be studied, right? So we have studies, studying, studies, right? Then studied. So all these are different forms of study, right? All these are different forms of study. So here, if you go for limitization, then this is going to transform this into a base form, to its base form. So this studies has been transformed into study. This studying has been transformed into study as well. But stemming does not work in that way. What stemming does is it cuts through the last words. So here, if you see this studies, here we have, after stemming, we have study, S-T-U-D-I only. And here, studying, we have S-T-U-D-Y only, right? So this is the difference between limitization and stemming, right? What we are doing? We are transforming them into its base form, right? And by limitization, it transforms this into base form. So we have the contextual meaning. But when you go for stemming, this simply cuts through all the is, ing, and i's. All right. So you have study, you have STUI after doing the stemming. All right. Now, after you have pre-processed all your words, now we know that machine, all these algorithms that we use cannot understand this data in its raw form. If you give this simple data, that is, let's consider this data, oh man, pretty cool, we things, right? This does not make any sense to machine, because machine only understand numeric values, right? all the machine learning algorithms that we have only understand the numeric values, right? So we have to represent all the words in a numeric form. We have to represent all the words into a numeric form. Now, how do we do that? So there are different methods to do that. There are different methods we can use to do that. So machines cannot understand the text in its raw form, so we have to convert them into numeric forms. Let's consider the below reviews that we have here. So we have some reviews. Review 1, this movie is very scary and long. So this movie is very scary and long. And the review 2 is, this movie is not scary and is slow. And the third review, this movie is spooky and good. So we have all these reviews, right? There are going to be n number of reviews, thousand of, right? Thousand of reviews. Now we cannot supply this directly to our machine learning algorithms. Cannot supply this directly to our machine learning algorithms. So we have to do some pre-processing. After we have seen how we do this pre-processing, right? So after we have done this pre-processing, we have to represent them into numeric form. We have to vectorize the text. Representing this into numeric form means we have to vectorize them, right? What we are going to do? We are going to vectorize this text. But there are certain rules we should consider while vectorizing. You cannot simply assign any number, right? So there are certain rules. It should not result in sparse matrix. Now what is sparse matrix? So it should not have a matrix where you have lot of zeros. That is known as sparse matrix representation. So whenever you try to represent this text as vectors, then it should not contain sparse matrix. We should be able to retain most of the linguistic information, right? If we are not able to retain this linguistic information, then this does not make any sense, because whatever result this machine is going to produce, you won't be able to understand, right? So yes, this is a supervised learning technique, and also there are some. So this comes under both the technique. Video is fine now, it is not buffering, guys. Please check your internet connection. We are running fine now, right? So yeah, so we have to represent them into word vectors, and this is a supervised as well as unsupervised task as well, right? Depends on what use case you are using. For chatbots, if you use, then there is no label, right? There is no label, right? And also if you use it for sentiment analysis, then that scenario we have some labels, in that scenario it is a supervised learning. So it comes under both the techniques, supervised as well as unsupervised. All right, now the one method that we are going to use is bag of words. That is bag of words to represent our text to numeric form or in a vector form. We are going to use this simple bag of words. There are more advanced technique, but here we are going to start off with bag of words, right? It is not buffering anymore, guys. Please check from your end, right? I think it is fine now. We are okay. We are good to go. Not buffering anymore. Fine. Please refresh your web page one more time. Buffering and see. Try to check your internet connection, please. All right. So we have to build a vocabulary of all the words in the reviews. to build a vocabulary of all the words in the reviews. So our vocabulary consists of 11 words. These 3 reviews. Let's consider this 3 reviews. This movie is very scary and long. This movie is not scary and is slow. This movie is spooky and good. Alright, so these are the 3 reviews. So we are going to make a vocabulary of this from this 3 review. We are going to make a vocabulary, and your vocabulary should have only the unique words. Should have only the unique words. So here we have this movie is very scary and long, not slow, spooky, good. So this becomes our vocabulary because we are only taking the unique words from each of these reviews. That is review 1, review 2 and review 3. We are only taking the unique words, and we are making a vocabulary out of this. So when we move to our coding part, it will be more clear to you. Be patient, alright? So we have made a vocabulary, right? Now let's understand how this bag of words work. So here I have these reviews, review 1, review 2 and review 3. And here have this vocabulary. This movie is very scary and long, not slow, spooky and good. Now these are our features. These are our features now. These are our features now, right? So here I have this review 1. What is the text in review 1? This movie is very scary and long. So here I have this in my review 1, right? So I have marked it as 1. Then the next feature is movie. We are checking whether movie is present in this review 1 or not. Then it is present, then we have marked it as 1 again, right? Then again we have is, right? So is present in our review 1. So we have marked it as 1. Alright. Now let's consider this review 2. So whenever we found this word we have marked it as 1. Otherwise we have marked it as 0. Now what is the total length of words in this first review? The total length of words is 7, right? And in review 2, we have this movie is slow, right? Then we have movie, right? So we have marked this movie as 1. Then we have is. Then we have is. So this is present. You see, in review 2, we have is present 2 times, right? Is present twice. That's why we have assigned this number 2 here, right? So here it has been assigned 2. Then we don't have very. We have marked it as 0. Then we don't have scary. We have marked it as 0. So whatever you have word that is present, you are going to assign that a number. If it occurs twice, then you have to do +1. That is 1 + 1, it becomes 2, right? And like this, we have represented our reviews in a vector form. If you see here, now it is in a vector form where we have ones, zeros, also 2, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. Now we have into a vector, right? We have marked this as 2. So I hope it is visible to everyone now. For some technical issues, we have the setting. All right. So let's get started, guys. So first of all, let's import some packages. Import packages. We are going to import pandas as pd, import numpy as np, right? Then what we are going to do to import matplotlib pyplot as plt, also import one as SNS. Alright, now to run it, just press shift and enter. Just press shift and import the packages. Import packages. Right, import packages. And here I'm going to write import pandas as pd, import numpy as np, as np, and import font as SNS, import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Right, and to run it, connect it first, then run it by pressing shift and enter. Just press shift and enter, right, and it is going to take a while to connect and then run. For that, all right, now we are going to import our data. So data equals to pd dot read underscore tsv. So this is a CSV. So read underscore CSV. And now I'm going to click on this folder icon over here. Click on this folder icon, right? Then click on this drive, mounting Google Drive. It's showing us mounting Google Drive. Then click on connect to Google Drive, right? Just click on connect to Google Drive. Then it is going to give you an option here of your drive. Let's wait for that. Now we have this option of drive here, right? So click on this drive, then my drive. Click on my drive. Then let's go to our folder where we have stored this data, right? So we have stored this data in WordEmbedding webinar, and this is our label data.tsv. So let's just copy it and close this. Now I'm going to paste the folder path over here, right? So we have the path over here. So we have given the path, right? And now I'm going to give sep, that is separator equals to, and in colon \t, right? Let's check the head of this data. Let's check the head of this data here. I'm going to write data dot head and let's run it. Now let's run it. Right? So we have this ID, right? We have this ID, then we have the sentiment, then we have the review. We have ID, we have sentiment, and also I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the first review, right? So let's take an example of this first review. How does it looks? What are the reviews that we have in what format, right? To that, what I'm going to write is take the shape first. So to check the shape, I can write data.shape. So what is the size of this data set, right? We are going to work with this data set which has 25,000 tweets, review, sorry, and we have to find the sentiment. So we have to build a model on this 25,000 tweets that can predict the sentiment. All right, so let's do that. Let's see how we do this. So let me get this new code cells. So click on code. All right, and here I'm going to write example equals to and here write data review 0. That is, we want the first review, and now I'm going to print it so that we will be able to see this first example. Right, now let's run this. So here you can see this example. We have, with all this stuff going on, MJ, I have started listening music, watching, and if you go all, you can read about this first example, right? And if you see, there are some ambiguities, there are some noises in this review, right? These are tags. So we have scraped this data from internet. That's why we are getting this HTML tags. So we have to remove this HTML tags as well. We have to remove this HTML tags from our data as well. So how do we do that? So for that, I'm going to import this BS4 from BS4 import beautiful soup, right? And here I'm going to write example equals to beautiful soup, and here I'm going to pass this example dot get text, right? So let's keep it that way only, and now let's just print it using dot get text, right? So I'm going to write print example dot get underscore text. Now let's run this. So here we are getting with all this stuff going on, and now slide through all these reviews. You don't have this HTML tags anymore. Don't have this HTML tags anymore here, right? So we have get rid of this HTML tags. Let's see the first step of your. This is the first step of your text preprocessing, where we have removed this HTML tags. Now let's move forward, right? In the next step, what we are going to do is we are going to remove the punctuations to remove the punctuation and the numbers. Remove the punctuations and the numbers. And how do we do that? For that, I have to import this regex. I hope you guys are aware about the regex module. So we are going to import re, right? That is regex. And here I'm going to write letters underscore only. So this is a variable, right? Letters only equals to re dot sub, right? So I hope you guys are aware about this regex functions, right? So if you are not aware about them, please read about this, right? You can easily find it on web. So we are going to get rid of this all the punctuations and the numbers. That's why we are on the alphanumeric characters, right? So just want the alphanumeric characters only. So here I'm going to give this symbol, then A to Z, right? Then capital A to capital Z, right? And then comma, right? Comma, we want to fill it with empty space, right? Any other values other than this capital A to Z and small a to Z, want to fill them with empty spaces. All right, then here we are going to get example dot get underscore text. All right, we are getting rid of this punctuations and numbers. All right, Now let's print this letters, right? So let's print this letters only. So let's run it. So here we are getting with all this stuff down at the moment with MJ, we don't have any more, right? If you see, this was a punctuation where we have this apostrophe s, right? Now it is not there anymore. I have IVE, right? Have removed these punctuations, and also we have removed the numbers as well from this textual data. Now the next task will be to get rid of all these stop words, all this stop word that is with, at, the. So how can we do that? So to do that, first of all, we are going to use of NLTK. So I'm going to import NLTK, right? So first for this NLTK, then you write, first of all we have to convert them into tokens, right? We have seen it, we have talked about this in that we have to convert this into tokens. So let's convert them into tokens. And how do we do that? To do that, I'm going to write lower underscore case equals to letters only dot lower, right? So we are going to convert all the words that are there, that this is in capital letter, right? W is in capital letter. So we are going to convert all these letters into lower letters, so that it is not getting confused between capital and small letters. Either you can give it in capital or you can have this in lower. So we are converting this to lower letter, right? And I'm going to write words equals to lowercase case dot split, right? If I do the split, then it is going to assign each variable in a list. Each word is going to be assigned a unique index, and this is going to give you back a list of all the words, right? And now if I print my words, here, run it, right? So if you see here, we are getting a list, and here we are getting this different words has been converted into different elements of this list. We have with all this stuff going down at the moment, right? These all are tokenized now. So all are tokenized. So we have tokenized all this, right? So after this, what we are going to do is we are going to move the so now what we are going to do is we are going to remove. So now what we are going to do is we are going to remove all the stop words, right? All right, so let's see how we remove these stop words. Sorry for that. So I'm going to use the NLTK package. So import NLTK, right? For this NLTK, no natural language toolkit, right? So it comes very handy when you go for natural language processing task. And now we are, first of all, you have to download NLTK dot download, right? NLTK dot download for stop words. So stop words, we are going to download this stop words, and then we're going to assign a variable stop underscore words equals to your NLTK dot corpus dot stop words, right? Stop dot words, stop dot words, and here have to pass in the stop word, that is English. So we want the English. Have this word, should be words, not word, right? Now it will run fine. All right, now if you see, previously we have all this information in our words, right, with all this stuff, but here we have removed this with all this. So this corpus is starting from stuff, right? So this is a pre-processing task that we do in machine learning, that is NLP. Whenever you have this textual data, you have to do this pre-processing task here, right? Now we have done it for single example, right? We have to do it for all the examples that are there in our data set. We have to do this for all the examples, that right? So we have just done it for one example, have done it for single example, single review. We have to do it for all the reviews. Now for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function here. I'm going to create a function over here. All right, so let's create a function. First of all, let's import this stemming. So we haven't done the stemming, right? We are going to do the stemming as well. NLTK dot stem import porter stemmer, capital here, porter stemmer. All right, and here I'm going to create an instance of this porter stemmer. Ps equals to porter stemmer, right? Now let's create a function def, and I'm going to name this as review to words, review underscore to words. This is the name of the function, right? And here it is going to take one argument, that is, all right, so then colon enter, right? And first task, we are going to remove HTML tags, right? The first task is remove HTML tags, right? So to do that, I'm going to write review equals to beautiful soup, right? And here I'm going to pass the review dot get text, dot get review dot get text. All right, next, after we have removed this HTML, we do remove the punctuations and numbers, right? Remove punctuations and numbers. So let's remove this punctuation, and to do that, I'm going to write this letters only, underscore only. So we have already written the code, right? So no need to write it again and again. I'm just going to copy it from the above code cell, copy it from here, right? Copy this line of code, and let's go down in our function. Here I'm going to paste it, over here. All right, now let's go forward, and now the next task is to lower the case, lower the words, lower the case of the words, and here we have written this code for this as well. So lower. All right, this is our function. Let's run it, and here I'm going to apply this function, right? We are going to apply review to words, right? And here we are going to apply this in data review, and let's check this for first example only. So for the first example only, so we are just checking it whether it is working fine or not, right? So it says function str dot join, right? So let's print it. All right, so we have done all the pre-processing task, right, on this review. Now let's go ahead and do this for apply this function to all the reviews that are there in our data set. So here I'm going to import from tqdm import tqdm import tqdm underscore notebook, right? So just to check the progress bar, we are importing this, and num underscore reviews, so number of reviews that we have, num underscore reviews equals to data.shape 0. What is data.shape 0? It is number of rows, right? So number of reviews is equals to number of rows, right? So I'm going to write for I in qqdm underscore notebook, for I in qqdm underscore notebook, right? And here I'm going to give a range num reviews, num underscore reviews, right? So this is our for loop, and we are going to write train underscore corpus dot append. So we have to create a empty train corpus as well. So I'm going to create a empty train corpus here, right? So we have this empty train corpus and train corpus dot append, and here I'm going to give it as review underscore to underscore words, right? And here I'm going to pass data review, all right? And here again I have to give I. We are iterating over all the reviews, right? We are iterating over all the reviews and doing our pre-processing task, right? So let's just run it. Let's just run it by pressing shift and enter. So you are going to see a nice progress bar over here. Right, so it is going to take some time as we progressing, right? Yeah, it has time here. So let's wait for this to get run and pre-process. All right, so we are going to convert this into another bag of words, right? So how to do that? Let's write the code for that. Right, x train equals to vectorizer dot transform, right? And here our train corpus, train underscore corpus, right? Train is not going to show anything to you. Don't forget to write to array, right? And y underscore train equals data dot sentiment